small town romance. Everybody loves it, and I want to dive headfirst today. Hi, my name's Bea. Welcome to my channel, Mama Needs to Read Romance, small town romance. November was the perfect time to delve deep into some buzzed about and highly rated small town romances. I've chosen just 5, which was hard to do. There are a lot. I can probably do this every month. So here's the deal. I'm gonna tell you about 5 books. I'm gonna read you the summaries on the back. Then I'm gonna read the first chapter of each book. And after that, I'm going to pick one of them to read and review at the end. Let's get started. Caitlin the Love Librarian says that everybody needs to read Elsie Silver. Well, I am starting with one that's been much buzzed about recently, Flawless. It's actually the first book in the Chestnut Spring series, so I'm very excited to be reading the first in a series. This one got a 4.28 on Goodreads. It says, the rules were simple. Keep my hands off his daughter and stay out of trouble. But now I'm stuck with her. There's only one bed. And well, rules are made to be broken. I'm the face of professional bull riding. The golden boy, or at least I was, until it all blew up in my face. Now my agent says I have to clean up my image, so I'm stuck with this ball-busting daughter for the rest of the season as my full-time supervision. But I don't need a GD babysitter, especially one with skin-tight jeans, a sexy smirk, and a mouth she can't stop running. This guy's a character. A mouth I can't stop thinking about. Because Summer isn't just another conquest. Her name is Summer. She sees the man behind the mask, and she doesn't run. She pulls me closer, even when she shouldn't. She says this means nothing. I say this means everything. She says there are boundaries we shouldn't cross, that my reputation can't take any more hits, and neither can her damaged heart. I say, I'm going to steal it anyway. Ooh, I just got goosebumps. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. I'm already excited, but I'm wondering if he might be a little too gruff for me. We'll find out. And it's on Kindle Unlimited. Here comes another one that's been all over Instagram. Bright Like Wildfire by Juliet Cross. I am so obsessed with Juliet Cross's Stay a Spell series, so I feel like I might be predisposed to pick this already. This one got a 4.21 on Goodreads, so it's another very highly rated book, and I am extremely excited to give this a whirl. Christy of Christy Reads a Lot has talked about how good this is too, and I always appreciate a good Christy recommendation. Bennett has no idea why Betty Mountain hates him, other than the time he accidentally hit her boobs with a glitter bomb in their community theater performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream. He's been nothing but helpful and accommodating. But that notorious incident happened years ago. Time for the gorgeous redhead to get over it and admit to the real chemistry between them, not just the onstage kind. Betty is in trouble. She may have gotten her dream role in a production by her favorite playwright, but there's a big problem. Her romantic lead is that cocky, annoyingly hot, know-it-all Bennett Broussard. And when the fake touching and fake kissing start to feel way too real, Betty realizes one thing. She better act her heart out or finally admit that Bennett has stolen hers. That sounds pretty good. I'm excited to try this too. And it's on Kindle Unlimited. So here's another one that's been blowing up Bookstagram. Are you noticing a trend here? We've got Tease by Melanie Harlow. Here's another author known for her small town romances. This is actually Cloverleaf Farms number 8. These are all on Kindle Unlimited as well, which is extremely exciting. And by the way, does this guy look so gorgeous? I couldn't help but pick this partly because of the cover, if I'm being honest. Has anyone ever done that? Anyway, let's talk about the back. Felicity. I didn't mean to say I was engaged to a hot billionaire. It just slipped out. In my defense, I had a really bad haircut. I know how that feels. A strong drink, and I was trying to save face in front of the mean girl at my high school reunion. Lucky for me, I happen to know a hot billionaire, Hutton French, and I have been friends forever. And even though big social gatherings are not his thing, I called him from the coat closet and begged him for a favor, show up and play my fake fiance for the night. Except that word of our engagement spreads like wildfire. Oh, that reminds me of the other book I just talked about. Our families are ecstatic. We're front page news. My little food blog is launched into the stratosphere. Of course, I offer to set the record straight right away, but Hutton wants to give it a little time. The phony engagement is keeping his matrimony mad mother and every matchmaking granny in town off his back. He even suggests I move in with him to make the ruse more real. And we don't stop there. We practice kissing, undressing each other, saying things and doing things we'd never dared if we weren't pretending. Because it's all for show, right? We're just role-playing. Hutton doesn't want a real relationship, and I don't want to get hurt. But the more time we spend faking it, the more I start to wonder, could Hutton, French, and I actually be right for each other? Or is it all just one big tease? This looks like it's gonna be something. This next one is not on Kindle Unlimited, but it is part of Audible Plus. So if you have an Audible subscription, you can listen to this one for free. It's another one that's been highly buzzed about. I'm staying on message here. It's by Serena Bowen and it's called Bittersweet. It got a 4.04 on Goodreads. So even though it's very highly rated, this is the lowest rated of the ones I've spoken about so far. Part of the True North series, and it's the first in the series, which is nice. The new series is set in Vermont. That sounds fun. True North is populated by the tough outdoorsy mountain men that populate the Green Mountain State. They raise cows and they grow apples. Okay, they chop a lot of wood, especially when they need to blow off steam. Beards are optional but encouraged. Oh, this sounds kind of fun and funny. If you can't stand the heat, get out of the orchard. Okay, this is I like this writing. This is kind of unique and creative. The last person Griffin Shipley expects to find stuck in a ditch on his Vermont country road is his ex-hookup. 5 years ago, they'd shared a couple of steamy nights together, but that was a lifetime ago. At 27, Griff is now the accidental patriarch of his family farm. Even his enormous shoulders feel the strain of supporting his mother, 3 siblings, and a dotty grandfather. I don't know what Dottie is. He doesn't have time for the sorority girl who's shown up expecting to buy his harvest at half price. This reminds me a lot of a Hallmark movie, although I have a feeling it's going to change quickly. Vermont was never in Audrey Kidder's travel plans, neither was Griff Shipley, but she needs a second chance with the restaurant conglomerate employing her. Okay, a 5th chance. And no self-righteous lumber-sexual farmer will stand in her way. Lumber-sexual. They're adversaries. They want entirely different things from life. Too bad their sexual chemistry is as hot as Audrey's top secret enchilada sauce, and then some. This sounds very different. I'm intrigued. Okay, so this last one is also part of Audible Plus. So if you have an Audible subscription, you can listen to this entire series, which is 8 books for free with a subscription. It's the Winston Brothers series by Penny Reed. Now I'm looking at book 2 because book 1 did not quite get a 4.0 rating. And as you know, I'm only picking books that have a 4.0 rating or above for this try a chapter challenge. You could always try book 1 if you wanted. But book 2 is called Grin and Beard It. It got a 4.14 on Goodreads. Sienna Diaz is everyone's favorite fat, funny lady. The movie studio executives can't explain it, but her films are outgrossing all the fit and trim headliners and Hollywood's most beautiful elite. I like that. The simple truth is everyone loves plus-size Sienna. But she has a problem. She can't read maps and her sense of direction is almost as bad as her comedic timing is stellar. Therefore, when Sienna's latest starring role takes her to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, she finds herself continually lost while trying to navigate the back roads of Green Valley, Tennessee. Much to her consternation, Sienna's most frequent savior is a ridiculously handsome, charming, and cheeky park ranger by the name of Jethro Winston. Sienna is accustomed to high levels of man handsome, so it's not Jethro's chiseled features or his perfect physique that makes Sienna stutter. It's his southern charm and gentlemanly manners, and habit of looking at her too long and too often. Sienna has successfully navigated the labyrinth of Hollywood heartthrobs, but can she traverse the tenuous trails of Tennessee without losing her head, or worse, her heart? This looks really cool. Okay, so those were the 5 books, and now it is time for me to read the first chapter of each, which, let's face it, I am insanely excited to do. Let's get this show on the road. You know, this happened to me last time. It's raining again and I was gonna film. It's too much. I just read the first chapter of Bright Like Wildfire by Juliet Cross and I loved it. Surprise, surprise, after liking the Stay a Spell series so much. So this gal is named Betty. She also called B. And she's a teacher, which I was a teacher for 10 years. And so of course I already feel a lot of camaraderie with her. She is very annoyed by a bigwig who is in the neighborhood in this small town. I love the friendships she has with the other people in the school. I thought it was really humorous how her morning was unraveling before her very eyes. I found her to be super relatable. I thought it was super sweet. I loved the parts in the school. And she's only seen him from afar, but he's quite dreamy and quite tall, so I'm already really intrigued. But yes, this has the makings of a fabulous book, and I am interested. Well, I just finished reading chapter 1 of Flawless by Elsie Silver. We've got this guy. He is trouble, but he is a bull rider, and he has just destroyed, based on some hidden camera footage, his reputation through punching a photographer and also speaking disparagingly about the milk company that is paying him to promote them. So he's not making great choices, and basically Kip, who is his PR person, I believe, Kip's daughter, Summer, who's been in love with him for secretly for 10 years. Kip is telling Summer that she needs to babysit him. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a good opening. We'll see. Well, I just finished chapter 1 of Bittersweet by Serena Bowen, and it is a really good, solid first chapter. We have Griffin. He's on his farm in Vermont, and he's about to start 16 weeks. I think it's the end of the summer. So it's the big, busy time on the farm, and he is going to be working really hard to take in the harvest. He also has cows, and it seems like he's really a pillar of the community. He cares a lot about people, their children. He's doing a lot for others. In fact, he's even taking in someone. You can see my chipmunks running around in the back. It's a nice warmish day in November, and all the chipmunks are like, wait, we won't go to hibernation yet after all. So before they go back underground. But anyway, back to the book. Griffin is a little wary because his mother said that she has just put in for another person to work on the farm, and this person is on a work program. He's recently out of prison, I believe. He was involved in a vehicular manslaughter incident where he was under the influence of opioids. And, it just goes to show that even though they're wary, they want to give people a second chance, and they want to believe the best in people, which I really find admirable. And it sounds like this is a really good hero in the story. I'm just really excited to see what happens when he meets our heroine. Of course, that doesn't happen in the first chapter, so that's as far as I've read. But it's really great writing. It just flowed beautifully. I accidentally found myself in the second chapter. It just flowed really, really well. The writing did. And so I think this is a good contender for a potential book for the one that I choose at the end. I just read the first chapter of Tease, and it looks really cute. We have Felicity. She is a blogger, and she just started a new business. She is a vegetarian caterer, and she just did her very first job at a wedding. And unfortunately, the review left by this woman, who seems awful, is a bad review. So her very first review in a very, very important wedding app is bad. So Felicity is freaking out. And how does she deal with really bad news? She cuts her own hair. For some reason, she's on the phone with her sister Millie, and her sister's like, no, don't do it. And Felicity says, I think I might give myself bangs. And she's like, no, anything but that, not bangs. I was chuckling quite a bit, and I felt like Felicity was super relatable. She has her 10-year reunion coming up, and she's not feeling very successful. Obviously, her new career is not starting off well. She is now living at home with her parents, which she doesn't feel very good about either, and she doesn't have a date. So she decides, with her sister's encouragement, to invite Hutton. Now, Hutton and she were very best friends in high school. They were part of the nerd herd, so to speak. They were like mathletes, chemistry club. At one point in the library, they almost kissed, but then then she said something and kind of ruined it, she said. So there may have been something there, but we don't know. They still spend time together just as friends, and now she's going to ask him to be her date to the high school reunion. This sounds lovely and adorable. There's one thing though. Millie says to Felicity, do you think it's true that he likes to tie women up in the bedroom and boss them around? And Felicity says, I don't know. So yeah, that gives me pause. But otherwise, this book sounds adorable. We'll see what happens next. I just finished chapter 1 of Grin and Beard It, and I really enjoyed it. It was very funny. We have Sienna. She is a famous plus size actress. She's got her pick of the guys that are super hot, so she feels pretty immune to their charms. She is also hilarious. She gets lost in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and I love the part where she gets mad at her map, and so she's jumping on it, and then she's like, oh, map making me do cardio. I thought that was great. She was so angry. She encounters Jethro. He is a park ranger, and she believes that he is a police officer initially. He has to explain, no, I'm a park ranger. They definitely have some chemistry, and they start to hit it off initially, especially when she realizes that he has no idea who she is. She figured that he knew her because she's so famous. And so when she realized that he didn't know who she was and he was still flirty with her, she was very, very excited about that. At which point she starts saying super awkward things, and some of the magic kind of died there for me because I was like, this girl is mildly offensive and a little bit awkward. But he is going to take her and help her, and it sounds like it's going to be a beautiful setting and funny. He's super handsome, she is a hoot, so this could be a good one. Okay, it is decision time. So let's talk about those 5 books again, and we're going to decide which one to read for the end of this vlog. Let me start by saying, I thought all these were fantastic. If someone said I had to read all 5 of them, I would be okay with that. However, I do have a favorite, I think, out of these 5. Let's knock out the first one that I thought was not quite as romantic, and the guy is apparently grumpy. I'm not a big grumpy sunshine person, at least not as far as I know yet. So I am going to knock out Bittersweet, although I've heard it's fantastic. People really love it, and they also love all of the detail they go into regarding farming and apple cider making. I think I might save this one for next September because I'm all about apples in September, so I'm gonna keep this in my TBR. I'm not getting really big romance vibes from Grin and Beard It. I don't think I'm super fond of the heroine, so I don't think I'm as excited about this one. And also, it was just a little awkward for me, and the humor didn't quite hit, so I'm not sure I'm gonna try this one out either. Now, another one that I really wanted to pick, but I don't think I'm gonna go for it in the end, Flawless. This is another kind of grumpy sunshine, maybe? And also, I'm not really getting small town vibes per se. Maybe that happens later. He's a bad boy, and I'm not really super excited about bad boys, as far as I know so far. Maybe I need to try more bad boys in the future. But for me, I'm all about the cinnamon rolls. So we're down to 2, and both of them seem like they might be more cinnamon roll types, with Tease and Bright Like Wildfire. Now, I had a really hard time deciding between these 2, but in the end, I think I'm going to knock out Tease because of the tying up. I just dealt with this, if you want to say it like that, in Always Practice Safe Hex. I don't really feel like going through that again in another book. Going through it. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm not excited about a book that has bossiness and tying up. So I'm gonna knock out Tease, even though I love that cover. And it does sound like it could be really cute and fun, and Hutton could be great. So I don't know, maybe I'll try it later. But so that brings me to my number 1, Bright Like Wildfire. This sounds really fun. I love that she's a teacher. It seems like there's really big small town vibes, kind of an enemies to lovers, kind of fun. And I've heard great things about Bennett. So maybe he's kind of a cinnamon roll type from what I'm understanding. I'm really excited about this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this one. The next time you see me, I'm gonna be telling you what I thought of Bright Like Wildfire. I cannot wait. It's so nice. Let's do it. Let's go on the special trail.
Okay.
Woo! I just finished Bright Like Wildfire and it's spicy, like ghost pepper spicy. A little too spicy for me. I don't know when I'm gonna learn. You know, this is the 6th book by Juliet Cross that I've read in 6 weeks. And I've just learned that her love scenes operate at a faster speed than me. These guys are on motorcycles, whereas my speed's more like a moped, I think. The scenes are well done, they're emotional. There's just a lot of them and a lot of experimenting and yeah, that's as much as I'm gonna say about that. Anyway, aside from that, I really found these characters likable. They were really relatable. Bennett's dealing with anxiety and he's trying to figure out how he fits with his family now that he's becoming his own man. Betty, meanwhile, she is a commitment phobe and Bennett comes on really strong. And it's a little much for her because her father left when she was a child and she's still dealing with that, even though she doesn't realize it until her relationship with Bennett helps her to recognize some of the demons she didn't even know she was still carrying. I thought the ending was super fun. A lot of this book, they are together in a play, and I loved how the play was woven into the end. I felt like giving a standing ovation myself at the very end. But yeah, I mean, it was a great story, very romantic, fun, funny. I'm hoping that they do a whole series. I read that Parks and Provocation, which is another book that honestly looks more like the books from Penny Reed. I would have gotten it confused with a Penny Reed book, honestly. But that is the love story of Betty's college roommate, which is kind of neat. So I'm definitely going to try out Parks and Provocation. In fact, I remember Crystal of Crystal's Bookish Life talking about how good that book was and what a feel-good book it was. And I put it on my TBR at that point, not even knowing who Juliet Cross was at the time, but it's certainly going higher up on my TBR at this point. This was such a blast. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really looking forward to next month's Try a Chapter Challenge where I'm going to be doing Christmas books from Audible Plus. I cannot wait. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you're enjoying whatever it is that you're reading, whether it's a small town romance or not. Until next time, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.